Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
I'm Ashley Hullett.
I'm Colin Smith.
And I'm May. Do they have snacks here? Schultz. And we're here talking about Angel Season 3.
It is our recap that thank you to the three of you for being available and down to do this because I feel like it has been, Ashley, we've been crawling to the end of Angel Season 3.
Yeah.
Hey, nothing will ever take you as long as Buffy Season 6.
No, nothing. Adam Sass said he lived in 3 different apartments during the duration of our coverage of Season 6.
The first time I heard that anecdote on the podcast, I started laughing so fucking hard.
Because it really puts in perspective, like, wow, we really fucking took a long time on this.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're here to recap Season 3. May and Colin, this is your first, you both co-hosted for Magicians as well, so it's not really your first time co-hosting, but it's your first time co-hosting an Angel season. May, what'd you think?
I love being on podcasts in general. I especially love being on this podcast because there's so many great people involved with it. And I love being able to not just do like one guest spot in a season, like what happens with other podcasts that I've guested on, but that I get to be an actual rotating co-host and come back for a bunch of episodes so that I get to have all these interesting discussions about the different dynamics that exist throughout the course of a season.
Yeah, I do think that's the one thing I've liked about doing the rotating co-host, that it lends itself to that, where it's like, either of you could be like, oh yeah, last time I was on, we talked about this, or like, it's like you at least have been in the conversation. Even if you're not listening, you've been in the conversation enough that you can like say reference to like conversations we had about the season arc in 2 episodes ago or whatever. Colin, what'd you think?
I'm just happy to be included anytime you text me and say, hey, can you join?
Yeah.
My sweet
yeah, no, it's been
angel.
great. It's, like May said, it's just nice to, just be on more than, because even outside of, like, I was on The Magicians Forbidden, I've done a couple Marvel things.
Yeah.
Did a couple episodes of Buffy, but it is nice to have, like, a consistent, this is what we're doing, so, like, you can follow right through.
Yeah, I think it makes the conversations, like, kind of better, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but, like, I don't know. It's like we can do it more often. Whereas if, like, I have, like, 3 co-hosts or 4 co-hosts, I don't know. It's like we can be in on the conversation, but the guests aren't. So it's like, and I repeat myself enough as it is. So, like, if I'm repeating myself with brand new people each time, they think it's new, but it's not new. So, yeah. Ashley, you have edited every episode. You and I are the ones that have been there for every episode. What were some of your favorites, like, in general, of, like, that you edited?
I think probably just it's selfishly the ones that I enjoy because then I'm enjoying the conversation more.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like, the Darla arc. I love to hear the Darla arc talked about. Birthday, getting, any Cordelia discourse is always good. And, this is not my favorite season. It's not my least favorite, but it's not my favorite. So
That is fair.
So there was like those are really the bits that stand out. And is it Waiting in the Wings? Is that the one with the ballet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is always really good. Plus I love any time that Ian from Passion of the Nerd is on, because he just has like such solid points.
And also such a pleasing voice. I could listen to that man talk about, I could listen to him read dishwasher instructions. And I would just be like, yeah.
Yeah,
sounds nice.
His voice is so. I've told him before that he should do ASMR because his voice is like very soothing and like I don't know, and like he speaks with confidence, but he's not like some like cocky jerk. He's not like super like overly confident, but he speaks with confidence and like so he could say whatever, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, you're saying it with confidence. You got that good voice.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree. Ian Carlos Crawford is a fucking dipshit. You're right. Like, I actually heard there was a commercial that I heard twice this weekend. Both times I was like, is that Ian Martin's voice? But I don't think it is. Oh, which kitty is that, May?
This is Kaylee, and she never does this. She just jumped up onto my lap and is letting me hold her right now. So I just needed to make sure the camera could see that.
A new co-host.
I have proof. Yeah.
Our other special guest. It's funny when Ian and Zach are on together. It's like the 2 competing like voices.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're the voices everyone like recognizes and like notices.
They're both very distinct voices.
Yes, like very like deep Zach who abandoned us this season, but we got Allison. But no, I think I did not expect this, but I think I like season 2 better now after going through this.
Really?
And 3 has always been like neck and neck with 5. 5 I think is still my favorite, but I think 2 might be my second favorite.
2 and 5 are my favorites.
I appreciated 2 way more going through it. Both 2 and 3, I don't understand why, but I feel like both 2 and 3 kind of fart at the end. Like they have these like good arcs, and then
see, and you know I love the Pylea arc, so I'm going to fight you on that. I think season 2 ends so strongly because it's just such a great little mini arc, and it's again a fun way to close out this season that still has a high amount of drama and stakes, and is also a nice counterpoint to the end of season 5 of Buffy if you watch them concurrently.
Yeah, I think I mean I would say the Pylea arc, which I don't really like, is stronger than whatever this Connor arc is that we have for like however many episodes. Like I don't know, like it feels like the Darla stuff is so strong, and then Waiting in the Wings is so good, but it feels like everything else is like, oh god, like what? Like it really felt like a Ryan Murphy show where it's like he had a cool idea, but he forgot to write the plot, and now it's airing, so it's like just scramble, put in anything, whatever, do it. And that's what I felt, and I didn't love that. Like I thought in my brain, I remembered there only being like 2 episodes where it's like, but it's and like the Holtz and Justine stuff, every episode it was in stopped it dead. Like we talked. So I just recorded the finale today, and sorry, I was saying that like I think if they had made either of them, like Holtz is a petty bitch, right? Like Holtz, if they had like made him like a campier, like Queenier, any kind of like big villain, I think he would have been more fun. I think they should have like leaned into the fact that like this is a petty motherfucker and he like holds a grudge for a bajillion years and, you know, is like killing himself to literally get back at Angel. And I think if they had played that up a little more, I might have enjoyed him.
Yeah, they could have made him more of like a comic book style villain because there is something about Angel that feels in line with like a sort of noir-y graphic novel, but it has these over-the-top elements that blend in with it pretty well. And they, like you said, they could have leaned into that with Holtz. They could have made it so that he was this slightly larger-than-life kind of villain who would cackle and scheme instead of just, I don't know, he's kind of boring. Yeah, and that's a bummer because he had a lot of potential. Yeah. The flashback scenes that we see of him interacting with Angel before he got his soul, those are great because his character within that world feels appropriate. But if you're going to do what he does and go to sleep for hundreds of years, or I guess time travel hundreds of years, because it feels instantaneous for him, you gotta be a little bit more of an entertaining villain.
Especially if we're going to spend so many scenes in so many episodes with this, like, Glory was fun to watch, right? Like, anytime we spend a scene with Glory, it's like, oh, great, cool. Like, give me more of this. Yeah. She's, like, being ridiculous. She's, like, yelling at her minion. She's sucking someone's brain. And it's fucking cool and fun. And, like...
Lila is the Glory of Angel.
Yes, she is.
And Holtz should have been the mayor of Angel.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah. Because you're right. Even the mayor, it was like, he was so quirky that it was like, oh, I kind of, you enjoy watching him because he's like this like 50s dad, but like actually is fully evil and killing people.
He feels like a comic book villain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean that in a very good way.
Yeah. Colin, what were you going to say when I interrupted you? I'm sorry.
Oh, it was just just watching it during this run where you're doing it more like focusing on episode per episode. I was going to say, would you feel different about it when you're binging it and watching like episodes back to back to back because everything flows one into the other in this season so much?
It does. It really does. And I was thinking about that earlier when we were recording the finale. I definitely, this season, this is when I started more watching Angel, but I still only, like, I remember catching the finale, but not catching everything prior to that.
So you skipped all the boring stuff that you hated.
I feel like, I think I caught the episode where it ends with Connor saying, "Hi, Dad," and then didn't catch another episode until it was the finale when Connor is. So it's like, I got a like Cliff Notes version of the end of the season, which makes it way more enjoyable. And when I went through it with Jason Sullivan, who was used to co-host as well, when I went through it with him when we lived together, it was like, we would be like really stoned and put it on and I'd be eating snacks. And it's like, I could like, come in and out of it while looking at my phone and eating snacks. And that's better because it's like, I don't have to listen to the Holtz and Justine episodes, but if I'm like sitting here writing notes for Slayerfest, I kind of do have to pay attention, even though I'm not fully paying attention. But like, so I think it's like different if it's like we get home from drinking and I put it on as opposed to like putting it on to take notes for the podcast. Yeah.
I did like a fast track today because like I've been watching a little bit with y'all, but like as I'm listening to your episodes, I feel like I don't really have to watch it because I'm getting the full picture. Yeah. So for this recording, I did like a fast track through the season where I watched like the opener and then just like every so often. Yeah. And I just feel like for me, Holtz is like so as pissed off as he should be. He's so emotionless. It feels like he's just like stone faced the whole time. He doesn't give any like overly emotional scenes, and so like I just needed a little more from him. And maybe it was like, I don't know if it was an acting choice or a directing choice to make him so stoic, but that's the issue with him for me.
You're right. That is exactly what it is, because it is like, he's so petty and he's coming back and his family was more, he has reasons to be petty, but like, we're not playing that up. We're just kind of like, he's like walking slowly to be like, I'm going to kill him. Yes. What kills him now? And it's like, give me something, girl. Like, it's weird because I still think that I think the Darla arc is maybe the best arc. Like, I just love it. And Julie Benz is so good. And getting to like interview her this season and getting to like do the watch along was so fun. And like her telling me the wildest thing she told me was that when they did that like alley scene, that the neighbors were mad because it's really a like location and that someone peed in a cup and threw it out the window.
Oh my God.
No. Bananas. Yeah. She said it actually hit one of the PAs named Ian. It like hit the cup, like hit him and he just pee splashed all over. Imagine that being the surprise, right?
To piss in a cup and throw it at someone. Like I can't imagine being that mad.
No, because that's like there's a lot of moving parts there. Like,
yeah. Super premeditated.
At someone filming in LA.
Right? Like,
are you used to that?
Yeah, that's like if they were filming in New York. It's like, oh yeah, this block is blocked off because they're filming, whatever. But I love those episodes, and I think, Cordelia's gone for a stretch of episodes, and the show just, I love Fred, I love Gunn, I don't know, I can't quite pinpoint what it is that didn't work, but the show really, and I love season 5, which is, Cordelia's not in it at all, but like,
Cordelia's down during the Holt's heaviest part, though. Is that part of the...
I think that could be it.
Yeah.
Like, that's when we get the, like, Wesley stealing the baby.
Doing nothing wrong.
And it's also weird that the first arc starts off so strong. Like, the Darla stuff is, like, fun and, like, pretty fast-paced, too. Like, I could have gotten more episodes. Like, I think it's great, but I think we could have had way more episodes of like them slip sliding around with this like pregnant vampire who's having mood swings going from like, I'm going to kill you all to crying. Cause like, I also love that. I think that's the beginning of her final episode when she like punches them all and then just sits in the car crying. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know. May, what do you think about the Darla arc?
Oh, it's incredible, but I wish it had been stretched out to more of the season. I wish that we had gotten to spend more time with her. And I don't know, part of me worries that if we did spend more time with her, it wouldn't be as effective.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also, I just love her as a character so much, and I love this version of her as a
Yes.
character so much that even if it wasn't all home runs, God, sorry, I just made a sports analogy. Fuck.
What podcast are you on?
I know.
You heterosexual.
How dare you? There are two things you can't call me: a heterosexual and a liberal. Before anyone thinks I'm a conservative, I'm an anarcho-communist. I'm super leftist.
No,
Just
May really
saving
likes
myself
the
there.
Republicans. That's what she was getting at.
Yes. I am a straight woman. Give me a man, baby. Anyway, even if all of it wasn't fully successful, I think it still would have been nice to spend more
Yeah.
time with her. And I think it would have upped the stakes a little bit if she was around more.
Yeah.
Because the episodes that she is around, when she comes back and is kind of sort of asking for help, but also they're just helping because that's who they are.
And she fucking hates them.
Right. And like that dynamic is so fun. It's so fun and it's so funny. And yeah, I want more of it.
I think you actually just summed up. It like feels very Buffy because it does both, where it's funny, but the stakes are high. There's still the emotional beats, but we're still laughing at like how ridiculous the situation is. And Angel doesn't always like, none of the Halt stuff ever got there with that. But like the Darla stuff very much immediately reached like Buffy level of like storytelling.
Well, it's very, since you're going through the 25th anniversary of season 4, it's very Spike coming to the Scoobies because he can't kill anyone.
Yes. And that's, I keep saying I like that version of Spike. I do like him begrudgingly having to be like, well, this is all I can do, so I'll hang out with these idiots that I can't stand. Like, I think it's like very later on in the season when he says to Giles, I forget the exact quote, it might be in A New Man, when he's like, don't come crying to me when you need more help because baby Xander cracked a tooth. Like, I think of that line a lot. Because he's just so fucking annoyed with them. But Colin, what do you think of the Darla arc? I know you love it too.
Oh, I love the Darla arc. Anytime Darla is in any episode, it's the best. So obviously I would have loved more time with her, but I appreciate the time we got. I think it would have been fun to see a little more of that dynamic because like once she comes back, it's kind of go.
Like, they're like on the run. Yeah.
She's gone. So it would have been fun if there was just 1 or 2 episodes of her just hanging out at the hotel or like being in the way of a mission because, oh shit, like something's going on with the baby. We need to figure out like,
I think that's something that would have worked really well. Like whatever, she gets a room in the hotel and like, there's a mission they have to do, but also she like is freaking out about being hungry. So it's like Angel and Cordelia trying to do both, like figure out the mission, but also get Darla some blood or whatever, or stop her from eating another kid or something. Like, I think that's, because also then there's the cult in that second episode in the middle that we never addressed.
That would have been fun to see like a little more of like, before Connor's born, all these people are coming because of the prophecy.
Then we kind of just get rid of that.
What do they want? Yeah.
Yeah. Ashley, I know you love that. Yeah.
I do. I would have liked to actually see more of her before she got to them. Like, because when we see her, she's like fully pregnant. I would have liked to see the like, what the fuck is this moment? Like seeing her figuring out what's going on. And then maybe a little more of the journey, like to Angel.
God, Julie Benz would have played that so well. The like Darla being like, ew, I'm pregnant.
And like she says, that it can't, you can't hurt it. I've tried.
Yeah.
Like I would like, fucked up as it sounds, I would like to have seen that stuff.
Yeah.
It would have been entertaining. And like the pregnancy stuff all really works for me until the baby is born. And then I'm like, nah, get rid of it.
So you agree Wesley did nothing wrong by getting rid of the baby?
Correct.
That's what Alistair said. Alistair was on for that episode. He was like, I just don't like it because I know what it leads to. And at first I was like, oh, I don't agree. But then when we were talking about the finale, I said to Alistair, I was like, I know how you feel because this finale, none of it works for me because I know goes nowhere that it's supposed to go, or what it's telling us where it's telling us it's going to go. None of that happens. And so it makes me annoyed. I compared it, all of you will appreciate this. I compared it to Scream 6 with what we do with Gale Weathers. Gale Weathers is right in every Scream movie but 6, where she's wrong about everything. And she's the one that gives them, like, shows them that museum, and she's wrong. That's a trap for them. She says who it's under, and that's wrong too. That was a trap. Like, all of the shit she gets is wrong.
I love that I was listening to the Waiting in the Wings episode today, and you were talking about this exact thing. Because of Cordelia telling...
Ian talking about Gale Weathers? That doesn't sound right.
Well, because you were talking about Cordelia and her emotional intelligence, but then telling Wesley that Fred is into her when she's not. She's into Gunn. And
makes me mad.
I agree.
And like both Gale and Cordelia are like, and add Margot in there, and those are like, that's my holy trinity. Like they are women who are like confident, suffer no fool, and are correct. Like that is like the thing is like they can be severe, but they're correct about what they're severe about. And it feels like this is one of the first times I noticed that. And I love Cordelia. I love this development of her, but they are definitely doing so much of the softening of her for this end of the season. And I don't like that comes with her being incorrect with every fucking thing she says. Like, I don't like that. And this episode, especially the finale episode, especially because Cordelia, when she's talking to Skip, everything she says is wrong. When she's like, oh, well, I know it'll be okay. Oh, this is the Powers final test. And I'm like, nope. Incorrect. And I hate the idea of her being swindled so badly that like, she's fucking put into a coma, never sees them again until her death day. Like, that sucks. And I don't like that. I mean, I know no one is like, yes, I love that for Cordelia. But like, it just like, in retrospect, makes it harder to enjoy all of that. So she gives birth. We get like a weird, I don't even know what that arc would be, because Holtz doesn't really, it's kind of a lot of like talking, right?
There's a lot of him just continuously saying like, I have a plan, or like Angel will suffer, but we never actually see a plan or do anything at this point.
And he like kills all of his minions, which I did not remember. And that almost feels like a budget thing. It almost feels like they were like, we can't afford to have demons in the background of every shot with Holtz, so like make them human. Because it feels like
everyone's favorite character, Justine.
But it feels like a stupid decision in general. Because it feels like, no, it seems like hired help demons that just are super strong would be better than like humans that aren't as strong, right? Especially if you're fighting a vampire.
Yeah, but he's very demons bad, humans good, despite making a deal with Sajan.
Sajan, Sajan was more enjoyable to watch. He's enjoyable on screen. He's doing the like, he's an ominous.
He's what you wanted Holtz to be.
Yes. And like, I loved him with Lila. Like, I thought that was enjoyable when she's like, we can't do that. And then holds up the paper that's like, count me in. And she's already like 10 steps ahead of him. Like, I love that. She's like, yeah, you need his blood. We already got it. Yeah. And like when he messes up and thinks she's betraying him, but actually she's not. And he like sells himself out to Angel because he thinks she is. And she's like, well, now he knows who you are. Now he knows that we made a deal. That's like enjoyable. That's like fun villain shit, right?
Yeah, and at the end when he's like, what are you doing? Like losing his fucking mind. It's really entertaining to watch.
Yes. I said this a million times, but that's the thing that like Buffy and Angel do really well. It's like this like ancient demon that's like looks like he should talk in like medieval dialect, but actually is like, hey guys, what's up? And is smoking a cigarette. Like, oh, I hate these idiots. What the fuck is going on? Like, that's like fun. And he still feels dangerous, right? It's still like, he still feels like a threat. I think another problem is I think that babies almost never work on a show, especially a genre show.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of a genre show where like they had a baby and it was like that baby was fine. We like wrote out the baby growing up and didn't just like either up their age level or have the baby disappear. I think of Colin in Lost. Does Claire disappear before she gives birth, or does she give birth and then disappear?
No, she gives birth and then she disappears because they find Aaron like on a tree stump when she goes in off with Jacob.
Right.
The Man in Black, I guess, but
I think Angel as a dad just like didn't really work for me.
Yeah.
I kept saying it was maybe the acting. I don't even know that it was the acting. I think it just like that's a different show. I don't know. I think it's just like in general just wouldn't have worked. Even if it was like the best actor, I think it's just like the show then has to do more things of like, we have to have a scene of like, where's the baby? Who's taking care of the baby? Like,
Lauren, it's always Lauren.
Yeah, it's always Lauren. Yeah.
Yeah, that other show is My Vampire Dad tonight on ABC Family.
Yes. And like,
honestly, make that show with the ghost of John Ritter. He would have been perfect.
He would have been
My Vampire Dad.
Yeah, I don't know. And then we get this, like, then Connor comes in and we get the, like, Connor, and it's so much sitting around being angsty and like,
yeah.
I'm an emo gal. Like, I love an angst.
Like an angsty teen?
But like, I just like, Connor isn't fun. There's nothing enjoyable about Connor.
Not even his hair.
Listen, I had a crush on Connor back in the day when I was like,
I've talked about my crush on Vincent Kartheiser.
I like very much did back in the day. Doesn't quite do it for me now, but I can see where like 18, 19-year-old Ian was like, yeah, I'm into this. But yeah, or maybe I would have been younger. I don't even know. What's time? The Connor arc, and it's also just so much back and forth, which I hate. I hate that it's like, Connor doesn't like him. Well, now Connor does like him. No, he doesn't like him again. Well, maybe he likes him. Nope, now he's going to kill him now. And it's like, just fucking pick one. I don't know. And it's so few episodes.
That continues into the next season. So,
So that is, I maybe hate that even more than him sleeping with Cordelia. Like, I hate the like, every other episode, it's like, is this Connor going to like Angel or hate him?
Is he an ally or is he an enemy at this point? It's,
Yeah.
The best thing is when Faith knocks him out. That's like my favorite. When she like puts him in his place.
Oh God, I'm so excited for that little arc in season 4, which is like one of the bright spots of season 4.
Yeah, May, was it your last episode? We were just talking about what a bummer that is, that like, because that arc is so good, but hate that the Cordelia in it is not like Cordelia.
I don't remember if that was with me or not, but I agree.
Yeah, because I like love the idea of her and Willow like on screen reuniting, but it's not really I don't like that. And also, like, part of me is like, at this point, Willow is so powerful. It feels like Tara knew something was off with Buffy the first time she met her. I feel like Willow would be able to like be like, something's weird here. You know what I mean? Maybe not know exactly, but be like, well, that didn't read like Cordelia or something.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Oh, maybe it's because it's like higher power stuff. It's still above.
But is it? It's not higher power.
No,
it's like,
it
Anyway.
It shouldn't be, but that's it. Anyways, that's for next season preview.
Yes, preview for next season. I do think the thing they did a good job of, especially at the end when Cordelia's gone for like 5 episodes, she's only back for like 3 more. They do a good job of like speeding up and showing us that these are 2 people falling in love. Like, I do think those actors are very good at that part. And I think David Boreanaz is good when he's paired with her. When he's paired with Julie Benz, when he's paired with Sarah Michelle Gellar, like, he is then a better actor, which I appreciate. And I mean, granted, I feel like it's because those 3 women are just so good. But I don't know. It like hurts me more because I'm like, man, they really shove it in your face at the end here. And then are like, nope. Just kidding. You're never going to fucking get it. They won't even kiss till she dies.
So close in this finale.
So close.
So close. Just for it to be ripped away.
Yeah. Well, and also I talked on my last episode about Gru and the affection that I have for him and how emotionally intelligent he is as a character. And that he's so in love with Cordelia and just wants her to feel even a fraction of what he does for her. Yeah. And it's so sad. It makes me so sad that he gets his heart broken this way. And like, that kind of stuff happens. You know, love triangles are a thing and they're unfortunate and they would be mostly solved by people being poly, which I'm never going to stop taking out my poly soapbox. But just his dismay at her not being able in the final episode of the season to say like, you're wrong. I love you. I want to be with you. I just get distracted by Angel because he's my best friend. And we know that would be a lie.
Right.
And
But
so I'm glad that she doesn't lie. And it's tragic that for her and Angel to finally admit their feelings for each other, someone else has to get hurt.
yeah, and the thing I also like, which this is what I always want out of shit like this, is no one's the bad guy in that love triangle. Like, Gru's not being an asshole about it. He's just like, I know you love him. And he's right. So it's not like he's like being jealous. It's like he is just 100% correct and reading the situation. And when he does, like you said, May, when he asks Cordelia, he's like, just tell me I'm wrong. She can't even say it. And she cries because she does feel bad that she's like now broken his heart. And
Yeah.
that's the type of shit I do like, because I think that's like a more nuanced way rather than like, I don't know. I think a lot about the Hunger Games, how in the end, I always forget which guy is which. I get them mixed up. Like how one of them, they make like very like militaristic kind of like, they like at the last end of the last book, it's like suddenly one of them is like kind of shitty. And it's like, well, that makes our choice easy. And it's like, but I don't want it to be like that. It's not like that in real life. You know, oftentimes it's like, well, someone's going to get hurt and it doesn't mean that they're bad because they're going to get hurt. Like I'm not picking them because they're bad. So I like when it's like not someone is the bad guy. I don't know, but, and Gru, he can be my
Love
man.
Gru so much.
Yeah.
He's such a sweetheart.
He is. And I do think I said this in the finale that, so we get the scene of like, he brings her whatever they call it, tea from Pylea, but it's like mud.
Yeah.
And she's like, ugh. I wish we had gotten a little more of that with them to show that no one's bad here. It's just like they are on two different like levels of existence at this point. Like she is so adult and she just cannot. There's no, like, it's understandable that you might be like, oh, another like gross mud drink that I have to pretend to like. Ugh. And like, I think I wish we had gotten just a few more like little scenes like that to show why it wasn't working.
Yeah, because most of their stuff happens off screen because they go away
They're on
together.
vacation, which I assume they must have had a great vacation because it's only like, I mean, she obviously deeply cares for Angel, but they don't know any of that's going on. So I assume when they're on vacation, they're just honeymoon phase, right?
Yeah. Just nonstop banging. The whole
100%.
time.
Oh, yeah. I feel like with Cordelia, it's like nonstop banging, but then also like shopping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Buckle up, pal, because you're living in Fuck City.
Is that outside of LA? I think so. What do we all think of Connor? I need to know everyone's Connor opinion. Ashley, you go first.
I hate Connor. I hate Connor.
It would have been so great if you were like, well, bless his heart.
Yeah, he's a sweet baby boy. I don't know. And I feel like there was potential for it, for me to like him, but the way that they ended up writing him and incorporating everything, I hated. And also, I think that if the like Connor Cordelia arc didn't happen, I would have less animosity for the character. I fucking hate that shit so much that it ruins like season 3 and 4. I'm like, I don't even this is the first time I've done a rewatch of them because I'm like,
oh really?
I'm like, I fucking hate it. I hate Connor.
It's very, I feel like if season 4 had gone a different way, I might have liked Connor, right? Like,
yes.
And I think if they had made him just like begrudgingly a part of the group, maybe do like what we were talking about with like Darla or Spike in season 4 of Buffy, where it's like, he doesn't really like them, but this is kind of all he has. So he's like helping and whatever. But it's like in season 4, I feel like it's like he'll help, but then it's like he tries to kill Angel while helping. And it's like, we're doing this again. Like, or goes home to fuck Cordelia.
I feel like if you had asked me this before me seeing season 4, I would probably say that I was like indifferent on him. Like, we'll just have to see where he goes. Cause like, I don't hate him, but I don't love him. But because I know where he goes, I'm like, no.
It really does spoil the end of the season, right? Like it really does. May, what are your Connor hot takes?
I mean, I think the revenge that he takes on Angel at the end of the season is one of the darker things that we see a character do in the Buffyverse. I mean, that's some hardcore fucking vengeance.
Yeah.
And I wish that his character was thought out better. I mentioned in my last episode that it makes absolutely no sense that he has an American accent, that he speaks in normal like LA vernacular. There's no way Holtz taught him things like that. There's no way that Holtz taught him to have that whatever attitude toward his other dad. It's like, if he had a British accent, if he spoke kind of strangely and felt a little out of time the way Holtz does, it would have made a lot more sense. It would have sold it better, because we're talking about a show with demons and vampires and magic and all this other shit. And pretty much everything else feels like it makes sense within that world. You know, the character Skip having to commute to work where he watches Billy in his fiery prison and talking the way he does. Yeah, sure, that makes sense, because he's existed, even if it's a slightly different plane, he exists proximal to our world.
Right.
Connor didn't. Connor grew up in a fucking hell dimension with his weird British quote unquote dad and should have no social or people skills. He shouldn't have an innate understanding of right and wrong, good and evil in our world.
Yeah.
And so it was a really missed opportunity to have a fish out of water character who is like really, really different. Because even Gru, who is from Pylea, which is a very different dimension where people who look like humans are treated as livestock.
Yeah.
He is awkward and he's strange, but he also has some people skills and he has a high amount of emotional intelligence. And again, that tracks. It's really just with Connor where they dropped the fucking ball. And yeah, it's like a will they, won't they thing on sitcoms with romance, but it's will he, won't he kill his fucking dad?
Yeah.
And it does not land. It does not land at all. Like, can you tell I'm frustrated? And yeah, Ashley, I totally agree with you. Knowing where this goes in season 4 makes it even more unbearable.
Yeah. I also think like a lot of those problems could have been solved if we knew what Kortoth was like, because when Holtz jumps in, it looks like just like a fire pit. It looks like a cartoony version of hell. So like I don't even know how they would stay alive. You know what I mean?
How did
like,
they survive?
Holtz is a human.
We talked about that a little bit. And it's like you said, he jumped through there with his coat. And Connor in a bundle. He did not have tools. He did not have weapons. And it's like, is there metal there that he can smith and turn into weapons? How is Connor so proficient at combat? It's like Holtz can teach him how to fight. He can tell him about our world, but that should not make the character that we end up with.
And Holtz has only been in like the present for
a few months.
If that, right? So he's definitely not an expert on what modern day LA teens are.
Right.
I'm trying to think of like, if it was like when they go to like a dimension where it mostly just looks like the same, but if everything like had been burned, like if it was like, okay, it's kind of like that. So like he found a TV to hook up or he found some books for them to read, but like,
or even if Justine had gone with them. So like there was someone else
who was a modern person, like,
and had an American accent.
Oh my God. The look on her face in the finale when Connor is talking about Holtz's Utah ranch, and Justine goes, "It was our dream." And then Connor talks about it in the way Holtz talked to him about it, that it would be just the two of them. And you can see that look on Justine's face, like, I want to kill this fucking kid and I know I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that in the episode where Lila sets up Justine, that one of the vampires says, like, oh, she thinks she's a slayer. I'm like, she does. You're right, she does. Colin, what would you rewrite for Connor to be not awful?
I actually, just to May's point about the revenge in the finale, I do think that is one of the, as dark as it is, one of the best ways that a big bad comes at Angel.
Oh, yeah.
Because like that's
Yeah.
what Holtz should have, when Holtz found out that Angel had a soul and was, cursed to feel all of the death and stuff, that's immediately what he should have done.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because that is absolute torture. So
Yeah.
good for
Because,
Connor
like,
there.
because like how long would it take Angel to like? I mean, I guess he would eventually die because he wouldn't get blood,
Nope.
but like I feel like it would take forever.
No, he
Because
would not die. He just becomes emaciated.
in Pangs that we just recorded for, Spike says if a vampire goes without blood, they just become a living skeleton, but they do not die.
Mhm.
Mm, okay, fair.
And we
Yeah,
kind of see it at the start of next season, but
and that's only like a few months. That's not even like
Yeah.
a year.
like, that is as shitty as it is and awful as it is what Connor did. Good for him.
Yeah.
As for the rest of all of the Buffyverse characters that get a lot of hate, like Dawn, Riley, Kennedy, Connor deserves it.
Yes, I think Connor deserves it the most. Connor is like Connor and Justine are the only ones that I'm like, yes, fuck them. Like, I hate them. What do you mean? Like, I defend every other Buffy character, but
Even Justine, as much as we ragged on her for the season, I do really like her in the finale. I think the finale is a good episode for her.
Yep. I mean, I like it next season when Wesley is keeping her in his fucking closet. And I don't think I will ever get over his delivery of, I'll take away
I'll
your
take
bucket. It is Wesley's
Eric.
most sinister moment.
Yeah.
And I love that we get that out of him because I love that Justine gets to be the character that brings that out in him. This like extreme hate almost because of his love for Angel. Because even though Angel tried to kill him, even though Angel turns his back on him in this season, Wesley still loves him and feels fiercely loyal to him and wants to make up for what he did, even though he didn't do anything wrong.
It's very friend groups where it's like, we can make fun of each other and we can insult each other, but if someone else does it, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's like in X-Men, how like Wolverine's ready to fucking kill Cyclops at any given moment, but if someone else fucks with Cyclops, he's there to get his back. Yeah, like he's like,
because he's his boyfriend.
Yeah, yeah. He's his boyfriend that he kind of hates.
Yeah, and it's going to upset Jean, and that's going to be a problem. So.
Right. Oh, see, there you go. More poly dynamics.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I still think my favorites of the season, though, because I want to talk about our favorite episodes, are Lullaby and Waiting in the Wings are my favorite of the season. I feel like those are very basic answers, so we might all have the same answer, but Ashley, do you have a different answer at all?
Lullaby, and I love Birthday.
Okay.
I love the Cordy-centric ep. I love getting to like see her legitimately like actively choose her destiny, her like pick the good fight over this free luscious life that she's offered. We get to see like the sweet moment with her and Dennis at the beginning when he's like helping her scrub her back in the bubble bath and stuff, and like
on.
I like that episode a lot.
Yeah. No, I do. I actually, that episode wasn't really much on my radar until we covered it for the podcast. That would be like my third favorite almost.
That's one that really sticks out to me.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
that's fair.
I can never really remember like what season it falls in, but it's one that I always remember what happened in.
That's fair. Yeah. Colin, what are some of your favorites?
The three that have been mentioned, obviously, because they're like the highlights. Despite the Cordy stuff in it, I do like the finale. I think there's a lot of stuff in the finale, but obviously it goes off the rails with whatever Cordy's happening with Cordy. But some of my favorite stuff for the back end, the last few episodes, is because of Wes and Lila.
I'm wondering how I'm going to feel about them next season, because I didn't like them together when it last, like anytime I've watched this before, I haven't liked them together, because Wesley feels like a little bit of a rewrite to me. Wesley really does. It's like, I don't like that he's even speaking. Like, it's like he's like doing, his acting is different. And I get that it's like, I know. It's like he's been through trauma.
He gets his throat slit while trying to do what he thinks is the right thing. Yeah. His best friend essentially tries to kill him for it. And then all of his friends abandon him. That's hitting fucking rock bottom. And sometimes when people hit rock bottom, their personalities change.
And then
I think it actually
lawyer comes and starts hitting on you.
Right. Yeah. I think it actually really makes sense for his character to go down this path. And I think it's one of the few really big character changes that they make in the Buffyverse that feels in line with what a person would actually do.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Not only does he experience all of that trauma, but then the fact that he's isolated at the end of it, like that really will like just fuck up your personality. So I think it makes sense.
Lila Morgan is basically his only friend.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great friend to have.
And the benefits.
I mean,
Right?
yes. Listen, if there's one thing I could absolutely say with 100% certainty is Lila Morgan knows how to lay it down. Like,
Mhm.
let's be real, right? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
also hilariously, Ashley posted one of the clips on fucking Twitter and it like flagged it as inappropriate or like wasn't showing up.
Yeah, it was the one where you called her Dommy Mommy.
Yeah.
May. It was like this is a harmful video, so we're not gonna share it.
The one time
Cool.
I say the word mommy in that context.
May, what were some of your favorite episodes this season?
I am going to surprise you all because there are actually a lot of episodes that I really like this season
All right.
outside of the arcs. And some of them are tangentially related to the arcs, but I think that vision thing is actually a really fucking powerful episode.
Yes.
And it goes a long way to setting up Angel's feelings for Cordelia.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it's really really important. It's important for that. And I love that we get to meet Skip for the first time because he's fucking great. And you know, there are a few stinker Monster of the Week episodes. That old gang of mine, we've talked about that they did not know how to write for Gunn because everyone in that writer's room is presumably white. And they were just like, yeah, let's make him black. That's his whole character. And I hate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some stinkers, but then Carpe Noctem is such a fun episode. It is
That is really
fucking
fun.
hilarious.
I forgot about that when I was on for that one.
Yeah, Lila boning an old guy who has taken possession of Angel's body is, you know, I have mixed feelings about having people having sex during body swap things because technically it's non-consensual.
Yeah.
And the way this one plays out is so fucking funny that I can't be too upset about it. You know, it's very different than like Faith sleeping with Riley when she's in Buffy's body.
I think it helps because Lila doesn't give a shit. Like, right? Like Lila's
right.
and she makes a joke about it later. And that doesn't feel unfair to Lila. That feels like how Lila would react. Like she'd be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever I got laid, it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. It was Angel's body.
Yeah, it's still a hot body, so whatever.
And then Billy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Billy is a really good episode.
You know, sometimes they try to get on the feminist soapbox and they fumble it. They do not fumble it with Billy. And I think they really stick the landing with Lila being the one to fucking kill him at the end of the episode.
And I love that she says nothing. Yes.
Yeah. It's so fucking powerful. Like, spoilers for season 1 of Jessica Jones for anyone who hasn't watched it. But if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't watched that show, who are you? When she kills Kilgrave at the end of that season, I sobbed for 40 fucking minutes. When you are a survivor of any kind of abuse, which unfortunately I have endured various different kinds of abuse, there's a reason rape revenge movies are an entire subgenre of horror. And I just rewatched Revenge the other day because I had some stuff happen and I needed some catharsis. And Billy is essentially a rape revenge episode of a TV show. And how often do you see that done the right way? You know, you've got an entire Law and Order spinoff dedicated to sexual assault. How often do the people who have been violated get to be the ones to exact their revenge? Not very often. And, you know, people are like, oh, violence begets violence. You should never do things like that. And like, I'm not
Sure,
gonna go out and kill the people
Right.
who have abused me. And watching fictional characters get to do it provides some small bit of catharsis. So
Yeah.
Agreed.
yeah, I love Billy.
You
Not
mentioning
the character.
that,
I love that episode.
right? Yeah. You mentioning that, I think I might have mentioned it even in the episode. Colin, I know the answer is yes. May and Ashley, you haven't, right? Have either of you watched Veronica Mars? I forget.
Oh yeah.
I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I cry so hard when, is it Madison that's her roommate that does get raped in the beginning of the season and she saves Veronica from being raped? Like,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
I could cry just saying it. Like the fact that she is the one that she recognizes the smell and everything that like totally fucked her in every way, where it's like, well, you don't know that the cologne, but she had recognized it earlier in the season, but they thought she was wrong and she thought she was wrong. And this time she's like, no, someone's in trouble. Like the beauty of that just feels so nice.
Yeah.
And it does feel cathartic. You're right, May. It's like, I feel good that this character got to do something on their own. Like they got to have their own agency. And especially like in Veronica Mars, she's like kind of like a side character that doesn't really do much, but like that's a really like very like poetic moment for her, you know? And like getting Lila to do this, who is this mean, vicious character that we love, but she is evil, works so well because it's not her being evil. It's her fucking getting the justice that she deserved in this episode. She doesn't normally deserve justice, right?
Right.
But here she did. And I love that she says nothing. That's my favorite part because Lila is very snappy, right? And Lila normally can have like some biting remark. And she's like, no, I fucking mean it this time. I'm just shooting him and I don't need to talk about it. Like, I'm gone. I'm done. I did the thing. Don't talk to me. Like, she doesn't need to like have the like warm talking moment with Angel and Cordelia. I'm sure she'd rather die than have that moment with either of them. And like, it's nice because it's written in character, getting her justice, but she doesn't need to like become someone different to get it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love.
It's for her. It's not for work.
Yeah,
it's
she's
not
not
for
doing
anything she's, trying to do. It's for her.
Yeah. And that's like, it's so good. And like, because also her attack is really awful to watch.
It's
like
brutal, yeah.
he throws her into that shelf and is like wailing on her. And it's like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, and also Gavin, who is a slimy character that we kind of love to hate.
Yeah.
He would never have done something like that if he was not under the influence of Billy. He'll try to undermine Lila. He'll even be okay with her maybe accidentally getting killed in an operation or something. But
he wouldn't take direct action.
He would not do that to her without Billy's influence. And so that's also difficult.
Yeah. Cause you're right. It's like, he's more of like, he doesn't like her, but he's probably scared of her. Like he like definitely is like,
he's very intimidated by her. And he probably gets a fear boner every time she walks into the room with him.
I get it.
It's, it's don't bully me, I'll come.
Yeah. It really is. And like, I forgot to mention that episode too, but I really love that episode. And I actually also really love everything Cordelia says to him at the end when he's like, oh, you feel really powerful, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, actually, I feel powerful because I'm pointing an arrow at you. And she's like, she also is done with his bullshit. And she's like so direct and like, I love seeing Cordelia part of me always wishes that she at least got to shoot him. Maybe not kill him because Lila definitely deserved the one to kill him. But I wish she had gotten to like, like shoot him in the ass or somewhere where it's like really humiliating for him to get like an arrow in. But everything she says there is really good. And I like how like direct and fucking no nonsense Cordelia is in that moment. And like, for me, that's like also a turning point for Cordelia because Cordelia's always been confident and tough, but not in a like actual fighting way, right? Like she confronted Lyle Gorch in Homecoming, which is great. But if he actually had tried to fight, then she might not have really
there would have been
able
nothing
to,
she could do.
Yeah,
right.
She really like might not have been able to do much. Here, I believe that like she probably can. She might be able to like put up a fight with him, and if she shoots him, like and I like that I bought that, and I like that we were able to get that for Cordelia. And her and Lila's moment too is so good when she goes to talk to her.
Good.
She's like, oh, I am you in better shoes. Like, oh, those are last season. Like, so good. And I also, the thing that we consistently do with Lila that I love is shit like that. Like, Lila doesn't get pressed still. Like, Cordelia does drag her to fucking hell. But Lila's still like, all right, whatever. So you know who I am. But she does think about it. And that's why she goes to fucking kill him. But she still doesn't get like frazzled by Cordelia. Like, saying everything, right?
And like,
his
game, you know?
I think that's what it is. It's like, if Angel had given her a similar speech, she wouldn't have cared.
Yes, that's true.
She recognizes herself in Cordelia in that moment, right?
Yeah, you're right. If Angel had done it, she would have been like, oh, shut up, you're so annoying. Like, well, I was going to say, what grade do we give this season? I don't know. I guess what grade do we give this season? May?
Overall, I'm going to give it a solid B.
Okay.
I think there's enough highs in here to keep it from being bogged down too low by the lows. And those highs are real good.
Yeah.
I didn't mention that, but Birthday and Waiting in the Wings are also amazing episodes. And I like that one of them is very much tied into the overall arc of one of the main characters of the show and arguably the heart of the show. Yeah. And I like that one of them is much more of a Monster of the Week episode. It's got a big heart at its core. We also get some like really fun hijinks. Are there still a few issues with that episode? Yeah, of course. The missed opportunity of having Wesley be a villainous character in that, kind of possessed by the spirit of the guy who owns the ballet. Yeah. Is that who he is? I can never remember exactly, but it's so good, and it's such a unique episode of the show, and it always makes me cry a little bit.
I think it's their Hush. Like, I think that's their Hush episode.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And it also just, the humor in that episode is so good, and like you talked about on the episode on it, Cordelia falling asleep during the opera is so fucking funny, and it's so perfect for her character. And
it tracks. It really does track. Like, she would be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna look hot. I'm getting a good dress," and then be like, but also this is boring.
Well, and you can just see teenage Cordelia being dragged to the opera by her parents and being so excited about her dress, but they're sitting in a box seat.
Right.
And she passes out because she's so fucking bored, because Cordelia doesn't like opera. There is no way Cordelia likes opera.
I would also be the one falling asleep. I think that was the one where Alistair said it would be me and Zach on either side of him falling asleep, and he'd be so mad. Ashley, what grade would you give this season?
It's a C for me.
Ooh, okay. That's fair. Colin?
I'm going to split the difference in B-.
Okay. I think I'm going to go with May. I'm going to like a flat B. I think before I watched this, I would have said it was an A season, but I think the thing is that this still has the issue that every Angel season has, where like there's an arc, and then there's a bad arc, and then there's a good arc, and then there's like a little arc, and then like we do something new at the end that's like, all right, but so season 1 doesn't have that, but it has so many clunkers, so it's like.
No. But season 1 it's in season 2 where they start to really like serialize it more.
Yeah.
Season 1 is still very Monster of the Week.
Yeah. And like, you know, Julie Benz I did appreciate hearing from Julie Benz directly that the reason she leaves so abruptly in 2 is because they wouldn't pay her. Like, she, you know, and like that makes a little more sense because her arc ends so weirdly, how it's just like in that weird Lindsay episode, she just kind of leaves and like, it's very,
I do miss Lindsay though. Can you imagine if he had been on this season? Would have been so fun.
I feel like he would have gone back and forth with saving Angel's baby and
would have
delivering
been
it
so jealous that Darla was pregnant with Angel's baby.
Oh my God.
He wasn't pregnant with Angel's baby.
Yeah, because he's in love with both Darla and Angel, but part of the reason he's in love with Darla is because he's in love with Angel.
Yeah,
I was going to say more so Angel, because it's like, Darla, I love you because I could maybe have sex with you, and that's like the closest I get to having sex with.
Right. Yeah, it's he wants Angel's sloppy seconds.
Yeah.
He's which like, no, I'm moving into the hotel, and we're all three going to take care of this baby together.
Yes.
God, oh my God, they need to make a sitcom about poly people that's actually written and, you know, show run by poly people so they can get it right. But like, can you imagine how funny the dynamics of something like that would be?
That would have been great.
Darla would have been so over being a mom immediately.
Oh.
like,
Oh my God.
Well,
yeah.
she would have. She even says, like, once the baby's out, my soul is gone. So
Yeah, I feel like she'd be like, yeah, the baby's crying. Do one of you want to handle it? Because I'm not going near it. like,
You
know
make me take
who-
care of that baby, I'm going to eat it.
yeah,
so
so
writing characters coming back in. You know who would have really loved to meet Connor?
Hmm.
Drusilla.
Oh my God.
she would have been so annoyed with him. She would have been
As like her
My precious angel.
grandson
Won't
slash
stop wailing.
brother.
Let me kill him. That was a terrible Drusilla
It was
impression. I'm
pretty good.
so
Better than
sorry.
mine. Listen, but Colin, I like that idea. Like, it would be her grandson slash brother because of the angel stuff.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I mean, she loves calling Darla grandmom. So, oh God. Yeah, no, Drusilla is someone that it is weird that they never tried to get her back again because
Yeah.
she worked really well in that arc. I don't know why.
And Juliet seems down. Like,
So-
she
Yeah.
seems like she would absolutely say yes if they asked.
I
her.
feel like if I asked Juliet to play Drusilla in an episode of this, like Slayer
She'd be
Fest, she'd be like, all right,
yes.
I
I
like
think
doing it.
they tied her too much to either Darla or Spike. So when both of them were,
There's like, what are they going to do with her? Yeah. But like maybe in like season 5 of Angel, she could have come back. Could have
She would have
gotten her.
Oh, that would have been nice
That
to
would have
have
been fantastic.
Harmony Andrew with Spike.
Oh my God.
I just like, because the one, I love the like, what is it? Is it Crush? It's
Crush.
Crush when Harmony
Yeah.
and her interact. And Drusilla's kind of like, what is this about
She's
Harmony?
like, who the fuck? Yeah. She thinks everything she says is hilarious. She's like, this girl?
And like Harmony also wouldn't like Drusilla. Like Harmony
Yeah.
would also kind of have the same reaction. So I would love.
Dorcas.
Yeah. Like, ew, she's so goth. It's weird because it does have such high highs, but then, yeah, I think Angel in general, I think just suffers from exactly what we're saying this season suffered from.
Yeah.
Because, like, think about season 2, between even taking out, like, if we like Pylea, but between the Darla, Drusilla, and then Pylea, it's like, what are those episodes? Like, we're just kind of like floundering with nothing to do.
I have to say, I also
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Pylea stuff. So
Yeah,
But
it's
I mean, like,
fucking fun.
But I mean, like, those are 2 arcs, right? But then between that,
Yes,
it's weird. It's
yeah.
like, Drusilla.
yeah, I just didn't say earlier. So
That's
I was
fair. That's fair.
Clarifying my stance.
And I mean, it's like season 4 with like the face stuff is so good. Like,
Yeah.
so like
I think
it's
season
some of
4
the
has
best.
some of the best episodes and some of the best like mini arcs. It just suffers for what it does to Cordelia more than anything.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I'll still think this, but I always remember season 4 looking the crispest. Like it was like felt like they were like even more like filming in HD or something. Like 4 and 5 feel very like they look like modern TV show budgets, not.
Mm-hmm.
And no hate, we all love Buffy here, but Buffy does kind of look like a show of the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Especially the early seasons. But I'm curious if I'll still think that, because I just remember 4 feeling very cinematic, because they would do those like fight scenes, like when they're all fighting the Beast and it's like slow motion, like, I don't know. And the Beast I think the Beast looks cool. I think for like a monster that's just like breaking shit and killing people, like he looks fucking cool. I like Gwen. She's added. I like her. Wish she was in
She should
more.
have been in more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now we're talking about season 4.
Anyways,
Anyway,
preview for season 4 conversations.
thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for listening. This is our coverage of Angel season 3. We're done. Woo! We'll be taking a break. I said this in the last episode. We'll be taking a little bit of a break, a little longer than normal. Ian's going to try to get other things done. Ashley will get a little bit of a break too. So that way we're not recording and editing every other day. Still do the Patreon, where we are covering Buffy season 4 for its 25th anniversary, X-Men the Animated Series, Batman the Animated Series, and random other things. We have Patreon watch-alongs over Zoom, some hangouts. We have a Discord. I do a sex and relationships talk show with Zachary Patton Garcia called My Nudie Judy. We recently have been interviewing porn stars over there. They're a lot of fun. And any and all support is much appreciated if you want to support us on Patreon. If you want to find us on social, we are at SlayerFestX98 on all social media platforms, including Blue Sky. And go follow us there, because I want to fully put down our Twitter, but I can't with how many followers it has. And if you want to follow me, I am at Ian X Carlos. Ashley, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Cousin Velan Fine, or I have also joined Blue Sky and I got my OG Twitter handle back, so I am at MythTaken314 over there. If you like Heartstopper, I do an in-depth analysis podcast on the show and the graphic novels. You can find us at Why Are We Cast on all socials, or listen anywhere you get podcasts and on YouTube.
And Colin, where can everyone find you?
I'm in various socials at csmith03.
And May, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky at Everson Poe. That's EversonPoe. You can find my music on Bandcamp and streaming services by looking for Everson Poe, 2 separate words. You can hear me every week on the Lady Killers of Feminine Rage podcast. We just recorded an episode today on Inside, the original 2007 French version, because there is no other version. And if you try to tell me there is, I will slap you in the face with a headshot of Laura Herring. And you can also hear me on...
I don't even know what that movie is.
The original version of Inside is a new French extremity film about a home invasion of a pregnant woman. And it's very intense and has some of the most intense violence I've seen in a movie, and I also love it. And
fair.
We had a really great discussion on it, so that was fun. And then you can also hear me over on Tender Subject with Kate Terry talking about body horror and cannibalism.
Well, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for listening. This is it for Angel Season 3. See you next time. We'll be coming back with Magicians Season 2 next is what'll be our next coverage.
I'm so excited.
Bye.